If you've ever gotten an email from Teachers Discovery, that was probably me. I designed all those. And I also do a lot of the technical support here at Teachers Discovery. So when it comes to how to implement some of these units with your LMS systems or, the technical side of things, I am more than happy to answer all those questions for you. And I'm going to be starting things off so I can kind of show you technically what's all included as far as the content goes when you purchase a hybrid unit. And then with me is Mary Momini.
Hi. Hi, everybody. I'm the director of social studies at Teachers Discovery. And so I'm the one who's been working with teachers and developers and proofers and editors to actually build the units. We're almost done with the newest 9 units that are launching, oh gosh, in what, a week and a half?
It feels like it's coming up pretty quick, yeah.
We're at the very end, yeah, just doing like testing and making sure there's no glitches, when students type into them, we test all those fields, that kind of thing. So we're excited. The new units that we are releasing go from Imperialism through, the last one is called Globalization, Terrorism, and Modern America. And it ends pretty much in 2020, 2021. I mean, it goes almost through what's going on right now. And then with a note to the students. And so there's 9 units. Yeah, we're excited.
Very. All right, so what I'm going to be showing you is not one of the new units. I'm actually got an older one that I'm going to show you. And then when we get into the actual content of the Teacher's Edition, we're going to switch it over. Mary's going to take over because we're going to use one
and
of
I
the
have
new
a fun
ones.
sneak peek. I decided I wanted to show you guys World War I. So I don't know where you're at with your teaching. Right now, I would be somewhere probably just past World War I, probably interwar years, heading into World War II. But whether you teach chronologically or whether you teach thematically, the beauty of these units is that, and Chuck will show you this, that everything is accessible and you can pull the pieces that you want. So if you don't want to follow the unit order, that's totally cool. And you'll see that in a sec here.
All right, so let's dive in, shall we? All right, so let's.
All right, here we go. Ethel Merman's language. Once she was back, of course, her big signature role.
Just a second.
Oh, I just wanted to say, Chuck, before you get rolling,
yeah.
If anyone has questions, this is a very casual, like we're literally just sipping coffee and, hanging out at our houses to show you these units.
Right.
So we don't want you to feel like it's, it's not very structured. You can definitely either chat us questions or just, pop right in with questions whenever they come up.
Yeah, honestly, the best thing to do is just unmute your mic, say hi, and just ask away. You can interrupt us anytime. All right. Let's get into this, shall we? I am going to mute a couple of people, though. So, all right, there we go. Okay, I'm going to start here. I have the Civil War available, so you can kind of see what's going on here. When you purchase a brand new unit, it comes available to you as a zip file. And when you pop open that zip file, you're going to have 2 things in there. One of them is going to be the Complete Teacher Edition, and that's got everything. You're going to have all of your pre-readings, your setting up your context. You're going to have all of the assignments, your answer keys, all of your teacher notes, your alignments. Everything is in that book. And the other thing is this folder, which is Student Pages. And that's where we've taken all of the assignments or anything that your students would need and broken them apart for you. So this way you can just grab the one thing that you need today and upload it to your Google Classroom or your Canvas, or submit it through email, or print it, or put it up on the board. However it is that you want to use it, it's right here. All of the page numbers that are listed here coincide with the page number on the Teacher's Edition. And they're all form fillable. All these blue boxes right here means you can just click on it and start typing right away Anywhere where a student needs to interact with this form, they just click right into the box and they can start typing. This works obviously on a desktop like I'm using now. It's going to work on a Chromebook. It's going to work on a tablet, a smartphone. For anybody who wants to do their homework on their phones, it's going to work on all of these devices as long as it can read a PDF. I am using the Acrobat Reader. The free version of Acrobat Reader can do all of these things. There's also another program called Kami, I know that a lot of people like, which is also very cool. They also have a free version, which has all the basic functionality that you need, and a paid version that's going to have more advanced stuff if you really want to get into it. I think it's like $100 for a year of service for up to 150 students for Kami. It's not necessary, but it's an option if you wanted to use it. In Acrobat Reader, there's a button called Comment, and if you click on Comment, it's going to give you a couple of extra tools, including like a pen tool, so you can circle things, you can draw arrows, you can mark things out, whatever it is that you want to do. I think there's a highlighter and a couple of other, like a typing tool. You can use these if you wanted to kind of like prep it before you upload it to give it to your students, and it's an option for your students if they wanted to start writing on places other than what's assigned. None of this is necessary. It's here if you want it. You can use them, but you certainly don't have to, because anything that a student is going to need to interact with is already created for you. So you can literally just grab and go. There were a couple of questions for people who are using, what was it, Teams. I think Microsoft Teams, where they would upload the fillable PDF and it would take away some of the functionality. There's a workaround for that, and I can't remember it off the top of my head. It has to do with where you're uploading it to. Like if you upload it to the notebook, I think is what it's called. There's I found a thing on YouTube where this lady kind of goes through the whole thing, and she explains it, and she was able to upload it, and students were able to interact with it and do everything with it right in Teams. I know if you upload it to like your Google Drive and then use Teams, it doesn't quite work the same way. Like it takes away the functionality, so you have to do this workaround. But that's just for Microsoft Teams. For Google Classroom and Canvas and all the others, it seems to work just fine. But if you have any problems with it, if you get it uploaded and your students can't fill it out, or you're having trouble with it, just reach out to us. You can email me, you can call the 1-800 number, and we'll give you a hand. We'll walk you through it. We'll figure out what's going on and get you going. Alrighty. Oh yes, and I'm just kind of taking a peek in the chat. It is definitely good in the classroom and remote. We did that very, very specifically as PDFs so that you would always have that option. You could do both at the same time. You can print it, you can project it, you can do both at the same time. Print, project, and send for the students who are remote, and everybody's always going to be on the same page. It seemed to be the most... Yeah, it seemed to be the most universal format where we knew it would just work across the board and everybody would be able to have access to it.
I have a teacher who told me that they love to print it because they still do packets for some of their students that are remote. And then for the students that are in class at the same time, she still prints a copy for herself just in case and likes to throw it under her document camera. So that's totally another option.
Nice. All right. Well, very cool. Well, anyway, that kind of wraps up my technical side of of the units and how that works. I don't know if anybody has any questions as far as that goes. But if we're good there, I think the next step is we're going to take a look at the actual content of a unit. And for that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
And let me jump in.
Yep. And let's share yours.
All right, give me 1 sec here to switch it over.
Right.
Okay. Share screen. All right. Can you guys see the cover of World War I here?
I can. Yep.
Okay,
We're good.
great. Okay. So I just wanted to put this out there. I have a 7-month-old black lab puppy who's kind of a goofball, and I apologize in advance. She likes to be where I am, and she's kind of running around me at the moment. So I'm sorry if you hear some background noise. The joys of working from home. Okay, so just to say, first of all, that we're excited about these new units. The first one that comes out before this one is Imperialism, which will take chronologically your content right through World War I. The one following this unit is titled The Roaring Twenties. That's followed by the Great Depression and the New Deal. World War II, we have an early Cold War era, which is kind of like leading into Vietnam, and then a late Cold War era, which is Vietnam through 1991, basically. And then the modern era unit, which takes us from 1991 through the present. So I just kind of wanted to flip through. Chuck, I don't have the chat up right now, so if you could just keep an eye on it while I'm going.
I'm watching.
And, you know, if anyone has questions, just let me know. Every one of our units is set up very similarly. And so this is the table of contents. This unit has 98 pages. Some of these units that we're developing are big. I think World War II, which I was just in yesterday, is like 120 pages. So it's a lot of content. That's why I emphasize that you could use it all, and it works really well together. It's designed to be a complete unit, but you could totally grab pieces. The reading that I'm going to show you guys is, I think, 16 pages in this one. You could decide just to load one page, maybe just covering the main causes of World War I, or something like that. So let's kind of jump through. You notice there's a reading, warm-ups. Are you guys seeing the TOC? I just wanted to make sure.
Yes.
Perfect. Content and skills practice are kind of what you would think of as worksheets, like what Chuck showed you a moment ago. We include graphic organizers. Every one of the new units has 2 graphic organizers to help break down primary sources from the period. One thing that is going to be really nice with the new units that the old ones didn't have, but we're going to update all of them. So anyone who has an old unit, you'll be getting an email with a new update, is that all the warm-ups will be editable too now. So let me kind of roll through, and then there's a lot of interactive stuff at the end. Okay, so this is the introductory reading. One thing that we changed up in these new units, which I'm excited about, we got feedback from you guys. Thank you so much that you wanted to see more pictures even in the intro, and just little captions to connect to what the students were reading. So this is setting the scene on militarism, alliances, imperialism, and nationalism, how World War I started, what was going on in the trenches, Christmas truce, what got us into World War I, and what was happening on the home front during the war. And then we also try to include just things that are not necessarily specific. Like if it's titled World War I, we're not only covering World War I, we try to include what was going on in the world and in the US at that time. So of course the Spanish flu, and then the aftermath of World War I. Now these, you're seeing the teacher edition. So for those of you who are familiar with this, you already know about this, but to people who are new to the unit, you're seeing the warm-ups stacked on top of each other. In the teacher edition, we do it this way just to save space. In the student edition, you would just load one of these. So let's say you wanted to just load World War I breaks out in Europe. It's just a short reading for them with 2 questions. Usually one is kind of a reading for information kind of question, and one is a kind of more elaborate critical thinking question. In the new unit, the student edition will have blank spaces here so that the kids can actually answer these and load them right back to you if you wanted to actually have this submitted for a grade. And so I'm just going to flip through. These all go in chronological order, just warm up so that while they're learning about World War I, they are actually reading about daily events that happened during World War I. And so we have things both directly related to the war and just more in like the context of society at the time. Wow, there's a lot of warm-ups in this one. We gave you a lot of content here. Okay, so here's the start of the content and skills practice. Chuck already told you, but everything is fully editable so that students can type their responses right into each spot. So evaluating the causes, looking at the Zimmerman note, mapping. We try to make sure we're including both primary sources, secondary sources, mapping skills, discussion prompts and questions. This one is about the Treaty of Versailles. Do you think the terms were reasonable, and did they favor one side over the other? And then we try to include two things that are a little more non-traditional and fun. This is a farce book. I don't know how many of you have heard of farce book, but this is something our company has provided for lots of years to teachers. We finally made it editable. So in this unit, you could assign that students are going to do a profile on Woodrow Wilson and talk about what he would have posted and who he would have been friends with and his information. So it's kind of a fun way to get them to delve into not only people. You could assign anything. You could assign the Berlin Wall and have them do a profile on it. And this is an assignment directly tied to that farce book. We also, in this one and in World War II, include propaganda. You'll see it in a couple different spots. So you saw it in the intro reading. You'll see it in the primary sources from the period. And we also actually include whole posters. And this is a primary source propaganda analysis activity with a couple longer short essay responses. And so I'm just going to flip through these. This is World War I propaganda.
Hey, Mary?
Yeah.
I had a good question pop up.
Okay.
And it was actually a suggestion. Carl says that he teaches 8th grade Mississippi history. And have we ever considered creating units that are specific for the states?
We have. Because this content is so new, we have teachers that right when we released US History 1 and actually World History 1, the whole first semester for both, we had teachers right off the bat who were like, when are you going to have the second semester ready? And so that's been our first priority, honestly, is just trying to continue the things that have already been released. But that's an awesome idea. I've had others in Texas. I spoke to a teacher in New York who was really into that idea. A couple other areas. So I think it's something that's definitely not off the table, but it wouldn't be coming out in the next couple months. Okay, this I wanted to stop at just for a second. The kids will never see this, I promise you. This is in the teacher edition, but everything that I just showed you guys, the evaluating the causes with Maine, that graphic organizer, the Zimmerman note, mapping World War I, anything that has responses that have a key or a question and answer format, we do provide a key. Some of the open-ended ones we tell you, on the farce book, answers are going to vary depending on what they picked to do their farce book on. And then these are the graphic organizers. This one includes aparts. I'm just curious, does anyone use aparts? This was one that was really big for me when I was doing pre-AP, and it used at all levels. I used it with AP students as well, but this is a great graphic organizer for primary source analysis. And again, everything is editable. The author is the US government. WPA or whatever. Well, it wouldn't have been WPA, but and the other one that we give for visual analysis is the Posers graphic organizer. This one's pretty cool too, because the students make observations about a specific source and then evidence that they pull directly from that source. So it's just kind of a different way to approach it. And with both of those graphic organizers, you could load one of these primary sources that I'm about to show you, or if you wanted to load all of them and put students into groups or let them pick one to analyze. All of these are from the period. They're dated at the bottom. So this one starts at 1914 and they go in chronological order. The sketches of the sinking of the Lusitania from a survivor. The actual Zimmerman telegram. Address to Congress leading to the declaration of war. The 18th Amendment. Donut Lassies. This one was so new to me. I was excited to find this. The carrier pigeons that were used in World War I. Trenches. Conscientious objectors. Oh man, this one's pretty relevant right now. 1918 influenza notices. And then finally, armistice. Okay, so when we get to this point in each unit, we provide you with a big mix. It just depends on the unit. You'll always have something like a document-based questions essay and primary source activity, but then we give you a lot of non-traditional activities too. So this one's pretty cool. It's how to actually hold a Paris Peace Conference simulation in your class, whether you are remote, whether you're a hybrid, or whether you're in person. So the person who asked me, who asked us if you think these would work with your in-person students, 100%, I can tell you. I used to do a simulation like this in my class. And I know that that's something that kids really got a lot out of. So I'm just going to flip through. We tell you day by day what you need to do with the students. If there were any prompts or things that you need to give to the students, like here's the roll cards so that each student represents a different country that attended those conferences. We include all of that for you. The graphic organizer that the students would use to research, putting their name, their country up at the top. And that's something you could have them turn in and load right back to you, or that's something that maybe you're having them do just for personal gain. Extracts of the Treaty of Versailles that they would use to help reinforce their argument. The 14 points. And then here's debriefing questions. We wanted to make sure that the debriefing questions are another thing that's always editable. So if you want this to be a discussion where kids, just talk with you about this on a Zoom conference, that's cool. If you want it to be something where they're answering these independently and turning that in for a grade, that's another option. The next thing in this unit is a DBQ. So this one says, we always include the essential question down here. How did American entry into World War I tip the balance in favor of the Allies? And so all of these have a mix of documents. You'll see this is a part from a speech from Woodrow Wilson, but we try to include a mix of primary and secondary sources. And then with every activity, we always include an answer key. So here's all of the responses that we would suggest for each of those documents. And then if you decide to assign the essay portion to your students, I normally wouldn't do that right off the bat. I'd normally start with like one primary source with a couple analysis questions. And then as they got better, I'd give them more and more pages. And then finally, after a few weeks of working with DBQs, they were ready to do a timed essay. This is just the position that we would suggest that they take based on the information that they used. And so also in each unit, you have extension activities. These are things that you could just lift right up if you wanted to have students go a little bit further with the unit, creating an Instagram account for a key figure of World War I, creating a Flipgrid reflection video. This one says, reflect on the arguments among the supporters of Woodrow Wilson, German and French leaders, and the supporters of Cabot Lodge regarding the type of peace that should be established. Creating a podcast from the point of view of a reporter. Some things are more traditional too. Let me go to the next page. These are essay questions. So if you just wanted to be able to, you are nearing the end of the unit and you want to be able to include something for a 1 to 2 page essay response, we give you 4 sample essay questions in every unit. This is a rubric that's generic, but if you wanted something to assess those extension activities with, you can enter student grades here, points that they earned and your feedback to them. And then we align both to the C3 framework for middle school and high school, and then to Common Core, which breaks it up into 6th to 8th, 9th to 10th, and 11 to 12th. And then this is just showing you, all of the things that we used as resources to help us create this unit. If you wanted to see more of them, let's say you really liked the DBQ that you did and you wanted more of this book, here is clickable, and it has 14 DBQs from that same semester. And
one question
that's
that
pretty
popped
much
up is,
it.
what would be the length of time needed if you used all of the information as a total unit?
So with the earlier units, I can honestly say we got way too excited about the second semester and we made them bigger. So I was telling people that, if you really wanted to fly through this unit, you could get through it probably in 2 weeks. Sometimes teachers told me they could even crank through it in like a week and a half, but those were smaller units. I had a couple of units that were only around like 60 to 70 pages. This unit at 98 pages is one of the smaller ones. And so I think if you really wanted to do the Paris Peace Conference simulation well, which would be, 3 to 4 days in itself, you're looking at least 2 weeks, but it could be 3 weeks. It could be more. It kind of depends on how how your, state aligns World War I and how much time in your district is allotted to it. So I don't know that I can give you like a hard and fast, like it will take you exactly, 3 weeks and 1 day kind of answer. A lot of teachers are telling me that they have been just using extracted pieces. And so they will share like 2 pages of the reading. And then let's say the military, alliances, that infographic, or I'm sorry, that graphic organizer, they'll share that. And they'll share the reading passages that correspond to that. And that'll be like a 1 or 2 day activity.
Actually better. I hope that when we move this, I'll be able to get access it over there.
Sorry, what was
this
that?
Is working better.
I'm not sure. Jason, did you have a question or? Oh, nope.
No, I just logged into from a different computer that's working a little bit than my school laptop. So,
gotcha.
But I've missed a lot of the stuff. My computer, my internet at home is very unstable.
Oh. I don't know that. Chuck, did you record this meeting or no?
I think I am. And I only say I think I am because I pushed some buttons and I think it is, but
okay.
I hope it is. I'm pretty sure.
So maybe hopefully Jason will be able to share it with you so that you can, we walked through World War I, one whole unit. So if you'd like a preview of that, we'll share that. If not, I have, Chuck and I have done the coffee breaks before and can definitely share the link to an older one too. There's a lot of cool stuff here though. I'm pretty excited about it. I've had, we as a company have had really great feedback from whole districts that have adopted these units. The most recent one was a school district in Tennessee. And so I got to talk with a lot of teachers and do an in-service with them. I shouldn't say we did, because Chuck was pretty awesome with that too. And we've gotten good feedback. So I'd love to hear from you guys if there's any questions that you have. I do want to kind of call your attention too to the fact that these are all available right now for pre-order. So the units are $39.99 a piece. We're doing a special just through March 1st, where if you purchase 3 of them, you automatically take $10 off of each one. So instead of them being $40 units, they're $30 units. I don't know as a teacher that I would have been able to get 120 pages of content, multiple DBQs, easy debates, worksheets, everything aligned for $30. So I haven't had any negatives yet. So, I'm very excited about the new units. Obviously, I'm a little biased, but I hope you guys like them too. A lot of things that'll be in the other units, it just depends based on the unit, are things like challenges where students race to complete activities and quests, easy debates, where we give them a prompt and give you everything that you need to carry out a debate. We give you instructions for how to do that remotely as well. Let's think what else.
I was gonna say, if you want to stop sharing for a sec, I can share my screen because we've seen now the World War I. I was going to pull up mine real quick here.
Thank you. It's funny how when you're on the spot, I'm like, what did I do with these 22 units?
So here, all right, so this one's the Civil War. This one's the one it's available now. For all of these, I've learned that if you go to teachersdiscovery.com and you're looking at the units and you're trying to figure out what exactly is all in them, if you go straight to the table of contents where it's all laid out, now that you have seen what one looks like, it's easy to go to the table of contents and really get a good idea of exactly what's going to be included in it. But just like the other unit, it's structured very much the same way, where it starts off with your historical context and then your warm-ups. But I think we wanted to take a look at... Oh, this one's got hero or villain.
Yeah, that's a fun activity.
And this one is using Hippo for your source analysis. There we go. So middle of the unit, this one is using easy debates, where you can set up your own class debate. And it goes through all the instructions on exactly how to set it up, everything you're going to need, how to score it, how much time you should be allotting to all the different parts of your debates, how to score it, including one that's already filled out, and how to do it over Zoom, which I think this was actually written by Caleb Sanders, wasn't it? He wrote this,
Yes, sir.
the Zoom part too. Yeah.
Yeah, Caleb Sanders is a teacher that we do a lot of work with. He teaches both middle school and high school level, depending on the semester. So it's a small district, and so it's kind of an interesting thing. And his brother, who's a twin, is the principal. So it's kind of, but he's been teaching social studies for a lot of years, and he likes what does he call it? Lively learning. So all of the activities that come from Caleb are always lively learning. Oh, I'm sorry about my dogs. Let me mute.
That's okay. And then here's the show me challenges that you were talking about, where you get into the speed challenges, the time challenges, and the creative challenges. I always excelled at the creative challenges. Go figure.
Can you show them a couple of those?
Yeah.
Caleb also created these. I should just say Caleb's very non-traditional learning. He loves to get away from the standard fill-in responses. So that's why we love using his components in the units, because some of these challenges are just so much fun.
Right. The time challenges, I would have been very poor at those. And the creative challenges, I would have been very good at these. Especially things
I like these because they put students right into, the moment, or they ask them to do things that are just really getting them to think. If you have students that are, different types of learners, right? We all have them. The creative challenges, things like that are in these units, have them interact with music, or have them interact with poetry, or have them interact with art in different ways. So these are fun. Again, nothing that you must do. He never does all of the creative challenges. He'll usually do a few because it's timed, right? I wish we had all the time in the world, but he doesn't. So he says he'll usually pick 3 or 4 of them to do with his students.
I should point out, because I just saw it pop up in the chat. Let me scroll back up just a little bit here. When this says using Easy Debates with Zoom, it's not necessarily specifically Zoom. This could be Google Meet or your Teams view, or whatever it is that you're using. It's just remotely is what it's really designed for. So there aren't any like Zoom specific buttons that it's talking about. It's just how to do it remotely.
Yep. Oh, I just wanted to answer a question too that came up in the chat about updates being made to the units. So the person that asked, let's see, Teresa asked about the Ancient Civilizations unit. We will be updating all units. So anytime we make an upgrade, like how I mentioned to you guys, we're going to make the warm-ups fully editable in these new units. We will apply that upgrade to all units. And so how that'll look is probably everybody who has the units provided an email address so that they could download it. So we would just reach out to you via that email address and give you the opportunity to download the new version. There's no cost for that. The next plan after these 9 launch, we really want to continue world history. World history left off at the 1500s, and it covered, let's see, the Byzantine Empire, medieval Europe, Islamic civilizations, and the Americas. So we really want to continue it from 1500s, getting right up to, if not today, close to today, just like with the US units. And also,
I'm sorry,
go ahead. I was just going to say also one thing to peek at on these. I know you already said this, but all of the new units, since they're not actually live yet, everything is already on our website for pre-order. And so if you just go to teachersdiscovery.com and type hybrid units, you'll be able to see a lot of cool stuff that just a complete teacher's table of contents, a breakdown of what activities are in the unit. Oh, thanks, Chuck. He's like, hey, I'll just show you. Thanks for being the techie guy.
Yeah, so here, social studies thematic units. Here's all of them. Or you can just type it in the search and go straight to it.
Could you just click on one, maybe like a government unit, since we didn't do anything with government today? Just down a little bit, yeah.
There we go.
Just so they can see kind of like.
Sure.
And then we show you previews in the images of the table of contents, which you can expand and see everything that's in that unit. And then we try to show you samples of the pages. And then a description below of the actual activities too. So, and you can always, I mean, Teachers Discovery has chat, and our customer service chickies that are, I shouldn't say chickies, guys and gals that are on there are, they're awesome. They're pretty quick to respond. And if they don't know the answer, they're very quick to tell us, hey, we need an answer. Help. We have a teacher waiting. So.
A lot of this text is going to be pretty much the same across all the different units until you get to this right here, activities include. I found that to be probably the most important paragraph in each one, where it really shows you exactly what's going to be in that unit.
Yep. We are planning to add more government units as well. I think that world history right now is a higher priority only because of how many teachers are reaching out to us asking us for, world history units first. So I think that's going to be next up on the docket. And then someone said, oh, that they have 2 of the government ones and they like them. That's awesome. Thank you for that feedback, Deborah.
All right. Did anybody have any questions at this point? Anything specific that you would like to know?
I want to know who's going to get the free unit.
I know, right? That's what I need to do right now.
Oh, Deborah has 6 of our units. Wow. Okay. That's awesome. I know that we talked about the government ones, and I hope you'll like these new ones and give them a try. If anything, I can say we're getting better as we go because we get excited about the content that we make. And I'm not saying that the first units aren't great. I've had really great feedback from teachers on all the units, but the further we get into this, the bigger they are. And I'm having to tell teachers, okay, you have to rein it in. I know you love teaching World War II, but we can't give them 200 pages of World War II content. And so we're having a lot of fun with it and a lot of discussions.
All right, so I have a list in front of me of everybody who's here right now, and I have a random number generator. So I'm going to click this button. It is going to pick a random number between 1 and 11. And then I'm just going to count from my list and see who that lands on. Ready? And click. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Deborah O'Neill. Oh, I think you just chatted something. Hey, Deborah. Guess what? You just won a free... Yippee! You just won a free unit. When you get a chance, go over to Teacher's Discovery, find one that you absolutely, absolutely love and would love to get your hands on. Email me, let me know what unit that is. I'll make sure you get it.
Oh, and Deborah, or I'm sorry, Julie, to answer your question, for our website, it's mainly by subject area. You can type in, if you are looking specifically for something for like 5th grade, let's say, any of the books or resources that we've created that are specific to 5th grade, we make sure that that is included in keywords. So it will come up, but it's generally better to search by the content that you're looking for. You'll find a lot more resources, and then all of them right on the page when you click on any item, it'll say in that text under the pictures, whether it's aligned for middle school, all levels, meaning this is an item that will work. Like if it was a border for your bulletin board area, for example, it'll say all levels, or whether it's middle school and high school aligned, that kind of thing. Oh, thanks for showing, Chuck.
You're welcome. Yeah, it's right
So
there.
Deborah, if you decide that you want your free unit to be one of the new ones, that's cool too. They're just not out yet. So we'll get it to you basically in about a week and a half. Oh yeah, Julie, we have a ton of things that are aligned to 6th grade. She was specifically asking for 6th grade. So these hybrid units do align, but there are so many other resources out there. Teacher's Discovery has resources for all levels, but I will say that I've been with the company since 2015, and at least since I've come in, the focus has definitely been supporting middle school and high school teachers, because we noticed that there was just a big gap. You could go to a teacher store, right? I mean, they still exist here and there in Michigan. I don't know about by you guys, but you could go into a teacher store and you see cute apples with worms coming out of them everywhere. But then you say you want really good junior level high school resources for social studies, and they're like, well, we have this one book. So that's why we've made that our focal point. We just saw a really high area of need. Does anyone else have any other questions for us about the hybrid units? One other thing I wanted to point out, Chuck, I don't know if this is something that you could share the link right in the chat for them, but if you haven't already subscribed, another thing that we do that's cool, it has nothing to do with the hybrid units. It's just a cool free digital activity. We send out a weekly current event. So if any of you do current events with your students, it's free. We have a teacher who finds a current event article from a different source each week. And we create questions that are identifying bias, identifying perspective, and just general like critical thinking questions. And we share it just through email weekly so that you could, if you wanted to, load it for your students. That's something that I really recommend sharing if you like doing current events. I know that my students, you know, Fridays, kind of end of day, we love to do current events.
I'm trying to find a link right now, and I can't.
I know I put you on the spot. I'm so sorry. Sorry about that. If we don't have the link right in this moment, we can definitely, we have all of your email addresses, so we could also just shoot you an email with that link to sign up. Yeah. But that was something that I had a teacher ask me about after one of our last sessions was, oh, you guys also do this? I didn't even know. So, oh, you know what? It might be. Let's see if I can find it for you.
Nope, that's not it either.
Chuck's gonna kill me.
I know, it's here because I know I've got it here somewhere, and I just cannot remember where I have it. And I'm using it all the time. All right, so the fact that this is so hard to find might be an issue. Oh my gosh, I'm just going to go straight to right here. Right here.
I think I have it. Let's see. The thank you page.
There you are.
Yay.
Found it. I don't know why that was so difficult. All right, here we go. I'm putting it in the chat for you.
So yeah, that comes out. It's just, sorry that I know I threw you a curveball there, Chuck. I apologize. I try to, when I'm talking to teachers and I'm one-on-one with you guys, I'm like, I taught, you know, high school, and I taught always at least 3 preps at once. So I'm constantly trying to think of like, what cool resources can I share with them right in the moment? And this is something that we get a lot of good feedback on. We usually pull US articles, just to be frank with you. If we find a good economics related article, we share it, or a good geography article, we share it, or world, we do world history or world events articles, but a lot of them tend to be what's going on in the US. And we will email you the current event, a link to it, and the questions every, what is it, Tuesday, right, Chuck?
Yeah, every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Mm-hmm. I don't think I have anything else. I still got like half a cup of coffee too. So I don't know.
I did tea today. So.
All right. So any other questions? Is there anything you'd like to take a look at?
Well, I think we're about wrapping it up then. Anyone else has... Yeah, if anyone else, sorry, my signal got wumpy there for a minute. If anyone else has any questions for us, I'm going to just throw my email directly into
Oh, yeah, you know what I should do? Well, I mean, you've all got my email address. I've been emailing you all week, so you know how to find me. All right, and there's Mary. She's right there in the chat. Yeah, all right, well... Thanks, everybody, for joining us. I'm so glad you could do this with us. If there's anything else that you'd like to see, if you have any questions at all, by all means, reach out to us. You can email us. You can call us. We even do these one-on-one walkthroughs where we show you all the content in there. Very similar to what we did just now, but we can do that one-on-one. We can do that with multiple teachers, a district. You just let us know what you need to help you out. We're more than happy to help.
Yeah, definitely. One thing too, if you decide that you take this information back to your team and other socialist teachers want to see firsthand what you saw, we do it a lot. Like Chuck, I know you just did a walkthrough that was 3 social studies teachers that are on a floor together, and one had heard about the units, the other 2 had not, and so he kind of like wrangled them in, and no problem doing anything like that. We'll work with you guys in your schedule. I do 10-hour shifts, so I feel like I'm always available, and Chuck is really great at making himself available too.
Absolutely, anytime. And yeah, just reach out, let us know, and we'll set that up for you. Always happy.
All right. Well, everybody have a great rest of your weekend. We don't want to keep you any longer. But if you have any questions, shoot me an email or shoot Chuck an email. And I hope you like the hybrid units. I really do. I would love your feedback. If there's something that you don't like, I want to know that too, because that's our goal. I mean, everything we create is for teachers and it's made with teachers. So we want to know if we did something that could be better.
Absolutely. All right. Everybody take care. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Enjoy your weekend. And we'll see you soon.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye now.